Hi, thank you for downloading the business cash flow template. This is going to be a quick overview of how you can utilize this template to track your cash flow. So first of all, under the cash flow overview on the left, we can see a summary section which shows the opening balance of the cash, the total inflow of the cash from all the transactions that we're going to enter. Then we have a cash outflow from all the transactions, and finally we have the closing balance. This balances will keep on updating as you enter the transactions, which we'll be discussing in a while. On the right, we can see three sections. We have got the account section, the quarterly overview, and the business activity. First, under the account section, if you click, you will see that you can set up all the different accounts that are under different heads. So for the assets, we have specified the cash, the bank, the receivables, the input taxes, other receivables, and rest of the items. You can add your own assets if you want, or you can edit the existing assets. In order to edit an existing asset, simply click on this pencil icon and you can start entering any preferred asset over here. So let's say I'm entering new asset. As soon as you enter this, the entire name of the asset has been changed. Then you can see some things coming up over here, which is the opening balance. This is the starting balance of the asset when you're starting to use this template. And you can add classifications. Classifications are like how the specific item is classified, which we can see over here that the credit card is classified as a debt, and the quarterly income has a frequency of quarterly payment frequency. So for classification, you can simply click on this. You can see that we have got several classifications available. If you want to add a new classification, you can add it, or if you want to edit an existing classification, click on this three dot and you can edit the existing classification. After this, we have got a payment frequency. Payment frequency means how frequently you are going to receive the payment for a particular item. So this will be useful for income and expenses. So for income, we have specified the interest income as a quarterly payment. So likewise, if you have got any asset where you are paying or receiving any money on a periodical basis, you can specify the frequency over here. Once you can click on this, you can specify the frequencies that is available. And after this, we have got opening units. This is not relevant until unless you have any investments or any inventory. So if you have any inventory, you can see that we have specified opening units of 10, and we have got the opening balance of 1300. So likewise, you can specify the opening units. And finally, you can add an asset class. This is only relevant when you have any inventory or investments under the asset. So for all the inventory items, you can put it under inventory asset class. For all the investments, you can put it under the investment asset class. So this is how you can add a particular item under asset. This exact principle is to be used under liabilities, income, and if you slide this to the right, you can see we have got expenses as well. So you can add your own items over here, and you can even edit the existing item as we explained by clicking on this pencil icon and editing all these values. In order to add a new item, simply click on this new over here under any of the respective categories, and it will help you to add a new item over there. So once we have assigned the accounts, it's now time to move into the bottom to add the transactions, which will be helpful for us to track the cash flow movement. But before that, let's have a look at the quarterly overview and see what it exactly denotes. Quarterly overview is the overview of the cash flow movement for each of the month divided into different quarters. So as you can see, we have got 4 quarters over here, and under each quarter we have got specific inflow, outflow, and net balance amounts. So inflow designates how much of cash has come into our business, and outflow designates how much of cash has gone out of the business, and finally we have the net balance. So this gives you a quick overview of a monthly cash movement for you and divided into different quarters. So as you can see, under quarter 3 in August, we have entered some transactions over here for 2023. So it is showing the inflow as 3800, outflow as 1720, and the net balance as 2080. So likewise, when you keep on adding the transactions, which we'll be discussing in a while, you will see this automatically getting updated. And finally, we have the business activity, where you can see the operating, investing, and financing activities. Operating means all the activities that are related to core operations of the business, like salary payments or receipt of your revenue and all these things. So it falls under operating activities. So for operating activities, these are the inflow, the outflow, and the net balance. And investing means if you have invested in any specific investments, let us say you have got stock investments or mutual fund investments, and whatever investments you make for the business, you can denote it under the investing activities, which we'll be discussing in a while. So under investing activities, we have got an inflow of 700 while we have got an outflow of 1200. This shows a negative 500 balance. And finally, we have financing activities. Financing activity means when you're raising loans or debt in order to run your business, all those activities will fall under financing activities. So that has inflow of 300 and outflow 100 and net balance of 200. So this is how you can get a quick overview of what is happening in your business under the business activity. Now let's scroll down and see how we can enter the transactions, which are core to running the entire cash flow template. So first of all, we can see that we have got 4 different views: the income, expense, asset, liability, and then you can see it is reflecting 2 more views. So if you click on this, you can see the investments and the inventory as well. So under investments, we can specify the units of investments we have purchased, the price, and all these values. And if you go still further, you can see that we have inventory, where you can specify the inventory units and the price and rest of the values. So first of all, let's see the income section. So as I click on the income section, you can see all the transactions that I've already added earlier are divided into different months, and the later the month, it will appear on the top. So September is appearing on top of August. And the quick way to add an income is, if you see on the left, we have 4 buttons over here which says add income, add expense, add asset, and add liability. Now if I click on add income, it will automatically add an income with today's date. So today is January 10, 2024. So it automatically added this transaction for today's date. Now if you click on this, you have the option to change the date as well. So as you see, we have a complete calendar for changing the date. So as you select any particular date, it will automatically change. Now it is January 10. If I select January 18, it automatically changes to that date. Okay. After this, you can enter the period. So once you click on this, you will see all the periods that are coming over here. So you can specify your own period. Like let's say we are specifying January 2024. Once you do this, you can add the specific period onto your calendar, or you can utilize this Jan month that we have over here. Okay. So that you can do. Then you can enter the description over here. So let me just specify the period before we move further. So let's say I'm putting it under January. Now let's go with the description. So description is simply what income you are receiving over here. So let's say this is sales revenue, and then we need to select the account for which we are receiving the sales. So sales revenue belongs to the sales revenue account. Here you have all the accounts listed that you added earlier under the account section as we discussed. So let me select the sales revenue, and then we have the payment mode. So this specifies how you are receiving the payment of the income, through cash or through a bank. So let's say I am receiving this payment through my bank. So I'll put bank over here, and then if you scroll to the right, we have further columns to look upon. So we have the amount column. So here you can specify how much of money you are receiving. So let's say I've received $150. And then finally you have the type of the cash that you are receiving. So as we discussed earlier, any kind of operational activities, that is the sales revenue or the salary payments or wages payment, which is related to day-to-day affairs of the business, will fall under the operating section. So as you click on this, you have 3 options: operating, investing, and financing. Investing means if you are investing in any investments, if you are putting your funds into any investments, that will fall under the investing activity. And financing means if you are taking any loan or repayment of loan or debt, that falls under the financing activities. All other activities besides investing and financing falls under operating. So I have selected operating over here, and then if I scroll to the right, you can see the transaction type. This denotes how the transaction is, how the cash is flowing in a business. So all the income which are coming, if you are putting any income transaction, this means the cash is coming into the business. So this will be an inflow transaction. Similarly, if you are putting any expenses, this will be outflow transaction, because the cash is going out of your account. Okay. So for all the income, you will put under inflow. For all the expense, you will put under outflow. And similarly, when you go to the asset and liability, you need to assess the situation whether the cash is coming in or the cash is going out of your account. If the cash is coming in, it is inflow. If the cash is going out, then it is outflow. So this sales revenue is an inflow transaction. That is why I will select inflow over here. So I'll just put inflow over here. And then if you scroll to the right, you can attach any documents like for the sales receipts or whatever you want to attach. You can click over here and you can upload a document over here. And then you have a tax rate. So if you want to incorporate tax into this sales transaction, you can enter the tax rate and it will automatically calculate the amount. So let's say I'm putting 1% as a tax rate. It automatically calculates the tax amount on the amount that I've already entered. If you do not have any tax calculations coming up, you can simply remove this. Okay. So as soon as I do this, you can see that under the operating activities, everything will be updated. So this automatically gets updated to all the transactions that we are adding up in due course of time. So this is how you can utilize this template. So just to give an example, here we have entered $150 and you can see the total cash inflow is showing 3950. So let's say I'm changing this to $2000. Just to give an overview, you can see this amount is updated with the total amount that I entered over here. Okay. So this quickly updates as per the transaction that you're entering. Now if you click on this, it shows the sum of the total balance and outflow and all these calculations. So I'll just select the sum of the balance and it will automatically calculate the required balance and it will reflect on the top. Okay. So meanwhile, if you see on the left, everything is also updated at the same time and it gets calculated accordingly. So similarly, you can utilize all these buttons that you have on the left to denote all the expenses, assets and liabilities as per your choice. And finally, when you move to the investments and inventory, you can add your own investments and inventory. So I have added some investments under the asset. So I put Apple stock purchase and Apple stock sales as an investment. So if I go to the investment section, it automatically shows the investments made, the units and the price of the investment, and you can allocate all the units and the prices of your own value, and it will automatically pick the values as you mentioned. Okay, and this shows the investment value, that is the price at which you purchase this stock. So all these things will come into place. So whenever you are entering any sale transaction, you can simply enter the sale value of the units and the price, and it will show the total value. Whenever you are entering a purchase transaction, you can see the investment value, and that will be similar to the purchase price. So and likely will accordingly you will calculate the profit and loss on both. And finally, we have the inventory, where you can specify the total inventory value that has been purchased at the purchase price, and the inventory which has been sold at the sale price, through which you can indicate the units and the price of the same. It will automatically calculate the profit or loss on the transaction. So this is in nutshell how you can keep track of everything in the cash flow template. So sometimes these figures take a while to update. So if it is not updating, you can simply click on this and click on sum and click on balance, and it will automatically update. So if you have any questions other than this, reach out to me at notionformyuse@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to assist you on the same. Thank you.